Welcome to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? And I'm not talking about some ancient gold coin locked away in a museum, but something so ordinary, so modern, that you might have already spent it without a second thought, because today we're diving into the mysterious and shockingly valuable 2014 D Jefferson Nickel. A coin that most people overlook, but one rare version of it has been rumored to reach an unbelievable value of up to $60 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single nickel potentially worth more than luxury mansions, private jets, and entire businesses combined. And before you think this is just another exaggerated coin story, stick with me, because what you're about to learn might completely change the way you look at your everyday pocket change. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the end, because there's another coin coming up after this that is even more unbelievable and could make this one look ordinary. So don't go anywhere, because the real surprises are just getting started. Now let's talk about why the 2014 D Jefferson Nickel is turning heads in the collecting world. First of all, this coin was minted in Denver, marked by the small but powerful D mint mark on the reverse side, and while millions of these nickels were produced, only a tiny fraction contained the rare characteristics that collectors are hunting for. You see, in 2014 the United States Mint was operating at full speed, producing coins for circulation without expecting that a few subtle but critical errors would slip through the cracks, and those errors are exactly what transformed a simple 5-cent piece into a potential multi-million-dollar treasure. One of the most talked about possibilities is a dramatic die error where the design appears doubled or slightly shifted, creating what experts call a double die obverse or reverse. And in some extremely rare cases the coin may show off center strikes, missing design elements, or even unusual metal compositions that were never intended for circulation. Imagine holding a coin that looks just slightly off and realizing that this tiny imperfection is exactly what makes it worth a fortune. And this is where most people make the biggest mistake, because they assume a coin must look shiny and perfect to be valuable, but in reality it's often the strange, the flawed, and the unexpected that bring in the biggest money, and collectors absolutely love these quirks because they tell a story of how something went wrong at the mint, turning a routine production into a rare accident of history. Now here's where it gets even more interesting, because some reports and collector discussions have hinted at ultra-rare variants of the 2014 D Jefferson Nickel being struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the coin was minted on a blank intended for a completely different denomination. Imagine a nickel design appearing on a dime-sized or penny-colored metal. That kind of error is insanely rare, and when authenticated it can send collectors into a frenzy, and auctions for coins with dramatic minting errors have historically reached jaw-dropping prices, fueling the speculation that a perfect storm of rarity, demand, and condition could push one of these nickels into the tens of millions. And while not every 2014 D nickel is valuable, the possibility that one could be hiding in circulation is what keeps collectors searching through jars, piggy banks, and even loose change from grocery stores. And this is exactly why you should never underestimate modern coins, because unlike ancient relics that are locked away, these are still out there, quietly moving from hand to hand, unnoticed by millions of people. And here's something that makes this even more exciting. There have been stories shared in the numismatic community about people discovering valuable coins in the most unexpected places, from old couch cushions to forgotten drawers. And while not every story turns into a million-dollar find, the fact that it's even possible is what makes this hobby so addictive. Now think about it for a second. How many times have you received a nickel in change and didn't even bother to look at it closely? What if one of those coins had a rare error, a unique strike, or a hidden detail that could change your life overnight? This is the kind of possibility that keeps collectors hooked. And it's also why you should start paying closer attention starting today. But don't get too comfortable yet, because while this 2014 D Jefferson nickel is already mind-blowing, there's another coin coming up next that takes things to a whole new level, and I'm not going to reveal its value just yet, but let's just say it has shocked even seasoned collectors and left experts speechless, so make sure you stay with me because you do not want to miss what's coming next. Now back to our 2014 D nickel. One of the key factors that drives its value is condition. Coins that are in near perfect or uncirculated condition are significantly more valuable than worn ones, and when you combine pristine condition with a rare error, you're looking at a collector's dream. Grading services play a huge role here, because a coin that receives a high grade can skyrocket in value almost instantly. And this is where authentication becomes critical, because in the world of rare coins, proof is everything. Collectors want certainty, they want verification, and they're willing to pay massive amounts for it, and this is exactly how a simple nickel can evolve into a headline grab. Bing piece worth millions. And here's another angle that adds to the mystery. Sometimes coins gain value not just because of what they are, but because of the stories attached to them. Imagine owning a coin that was part of a famous collection or discovered in a unique way. That story alone can increase its desirability, and in a market driven by passion, history, and rarity, even the smallest detail can make a huge difference. And while all of this might sound unbelievable, it's important to remember that the coin market has seen extraordinary sales before, where seemingly ordinary pieces have shattered expectations and set new records, and that's exactly why the 2014 D Jefferson nickel continues to spark curiosity and excitement among collectors worldwide, because no one knows how many rare versions are still out there waiting to be discovered, and that uncertainty is what makes the hunt so thrilling. So the next time you come across a nickel, take a closer look, check the year, examine the details, and don't rush to spend it, because you might be holding something far more valuable than you ever imagined. And just when you think this story couldn't get any crazier, remember there's another coin coming up next that pushes the limits even further, a coin that has collectors on edge and rumors swirling, and trust me, you'll want to see how it compares. Because if you thought this 2014 D Jefferson nickel was impressive, the next coin is on a completely different level and could change everything you thought you knew about modern coins. Next, 2001 D Jefferson nickel. Imagine reaching into an old jar and pulling out a coin that collectors would fight over, a coin so unassuming that most people wouldn't even give it a second glance, yet hidden within its ordinary appearance could be a staggering fortune waiting to be discovered. Because today we're diving into the legendary 2001 D Jefferson nickel, a coin that has sparked wild discussions, intense collector interest, and whispers of values climbing as high as $70 million. And if that number sounds unreal, that's exactly why this story has captured so much attention, because sometimes the most unbelievable treasures are hiding in the most ordinary places, and you might already have one sitting in your home right now without even realizing it. So stay locked in, because this coin doesn't just challenge expectations, it completely shatters them. And by the time you hear the full story behind it, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. Now let's get into what makes the 2001 D Jefferson nickel so insanely special, starting with its origin at the Denver Mint, where millions of nickels were produced for everyday circulation. Nothing unusual at first glance, nothing that would suggest life-changing value, but as with many legendary coins, the magic lies in the tiny details that most people miss, because within that massive production run, a handful of coins are believed to carry rare minting anomalies that transform them into collector gold. One of the most talked about features is the possibility of a dramatic double die error where the design elements such as the lettering or Monticello appear duplicated or slightly offset, creating a visual effect that immediately signals rarity to trained eyes, and while minor doubling can occur in many coins, extreme and clearly visible doubling is what drives collectors into a frenzy. Especially when it appears on a modern coin where such errors are supposed to be tightly controlled, and that's just the beginning because some experts and collectors have speculated about even more unusual variations, including off-center strikes where the design is misaligned, clipped planchets where part of the coin is literally missing, and even the rare chance of a wrong planchet strike where the nickel design appears on a blank intended for a completely different denomination. Imagine holding a coin that feels slightly lighter or looks slightly different in color and realizing that this subtle difference is exactly what makes it worth a fortune, and here's the thing: most people overlook these details completely. They spend these coins every single day without ever noticing the tiny clues that could signal something extraordinary, and that's why stories of valuable finds keep popping up, because it only takes one sharp-eyed person to spot what millions have ignored. Now let's talk about condition, because this is where things get even more intense. A coin in average circulated condition might not turn heads, but a pristine uncirculated example with sharp details, full luster, and nowhere can command incredible attention, and when you combine that level of preservation with a rare error or anomaly, you're looking at the kind of coin that collectors dream about, the kind that sparks bidding wars and headlines, and this is exactly how values can skyrocket into unimaginable territory. Because in the world of rare coins, rarity plus condition equals demand, and demand is what drives those jaw-dropping numbers. Now here's where the story gets even more fascinating, because there have been rumors circulating within the numismatic community about a near-perfect 2001 D Jefferson nickel with a unique combination of features, a coin so rare that it has become almost mythical among collectors. And while confirmed public sales at that extreme level remain a topic of debate, the buzz alone has pushed interest in this coin to new heights, making it one of the most talked about modern nickels in recent memory. And that's the power of mystery in the coin world, because sometimes the possibility of a record-breaking piece is enough to ignite a global hunt, and that hunt is very real, with collectors searching through rolls of coins, bank boxes, and old collections hoping to strike it big. And this is where you come in, because you don't need to be a professional numismatist to start looking. All it takes is curiosity and a willingness to pay attention. Check your nickels, look for the 2001 date with the D mint mark, examine the details closely, and don't assume anything is worthless just because it looks common. Because as we've seen time and time again, the most valuable coins are often the ones hiding in plain sight, and here's something that makes this even more exciting. Unlike ancient coins that are locked away in private collections or museums, modern coins like this are still circulating, still being used in everyday transactions, still passing through countless hands unnoticed. Which means the opportunity to find one is still alive right now, at this very moment, and that's what makes this story so powerful, because it turns an ordinary activity like checking your change into a potential treasure hunt. Now imagine the moment you realize that a coin you almost spent could actually be worth millions. That kind of discovery doesn't just change your bank account, it changes your entire life. And while not every 2001 D Jefferson nickel will have these rare features, the possibility that one might is enough to keep collectors searching relentlessly, and that's exactly why this coin has become such a legend, a symbol of hidden value and unexpected fortune. So the next time you get a handful of coins, don't rush to spend them, take a closer look, because you never know what you might find. and as we wrap up this incredible journey through the mystery of the 2001 D Jefferson Nickel, one thing becomes crystal clear: the world of coin collecting is full of surprises, full of hidden stories, and full of opportunities waiting to be discovered, and who knows, the next life changing coin could already be in your possession, just waiting for you to notice it.